Hi, parents. Thank you for being here today. So today I want to share something very important. Okay. So there's a lot of parents ask me, why is that my child is not improving, doctor? So the answer is very simple. Autism is not just one condition. Every child with autism is different, as you all know. And because of that, we cannot use one same treatment for all. Okay. So before that, to understand autism in a more simple way, let me explain in a very simple analogy. I always tell parents autism is just like a computer system. So it has software and hardware. So the software example of software is the therapy. Okay, example speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavior therapy, and etc. Whereas on the hardware part, it equivalent to the child's body conditions like the brain function, the gut function, nutritional status, metabolism status. Okay, if we only fix the software but ignore the hardware, yes, the child may improve, but at a very slow speed or partially improve. So the best outcomes is that when we support both the software and the hardware together. All right. So now let us go to the new understanding of the different subtypes of autism. Okay. So now we understand that the autism have different subtype, and each subtype actually will determine the outcome of the therapy or the treatment. Okay. So let me share a few ones. For example, gut or stomach subtype. So in this subtype, the children usually have constipation, loose stool, picky eater, and behavior worsen after certain food. So this is related to what we call the gut-brain connections. Okay, so the second subtype is the brain inflammations. So in this subtype, most of the time the parents will report or will feedback that their child actually regress at certain months. For example, they have words, they have good eye contact between 12 to 18 months, 12 to 24 months, then suddenly they regress, the child regress. They lost the word, they lost the skill, they have poor eye contact. Okay, so beside words, they also have mood swing, poor sleep, and easily irritable. Okay, the third subtype is mitochondria or the low energy type. So most of the time, the body has low energy productions. So the child always feel very tired, very low stamina, not motivated, and the developmental is very, very slow. All right. The fourth subtype is the sensory. Okay. Whereas the brain actually process sensory input differently. Oh, these are the group that usually uh, the child is very sensitive to sound, light, touch. They cover their ears most of the time, and also one of the most difficult sometimes. Because why? They easily melt down, their tantrums, difficult to go to the public places. They cause a lot of difficulty to the caretaker, to the family member, and also sometimes to the teacher or therapy as well. All right. So the last one is high functioning type. High functioning. Okay, the word itself already tell you that they are very high function. They are very smart. They can go to school. They can go to colleges. They can even actually graduate from the university. However, they have poor social skill. Okay, because of poor skill, poor social communication skill, they always have this anxiety. They're always in anxious mood, especially when it comes to two-way communication, three-way communication, or group discussions. Okay, and at times they are very rigid in their thinking or in their behavior. Okay, sometimes they have certain behavior which actually very restrictive type. They are not accommodative. All right. So these are the high functional type. So now, parents, you see, not all autism is same. All right. So how do we help? So we usually use a personalized approach. First, what are the personalized approach? The step one is the core therapy. This is very important for all the children. Okay, so like example, the core therapy. For example, the speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavior therapy, and also parental training. I always notice that a lot of the children actually they do undergo various therapy, but most of the time the parents have no time for own training or going for some classes. Yeah, so this is a lacking. Okay, this is a very common. Okay, parental training is very important, dear parents. All right. So the second step is beside the core therapy, which actually focus on the software. So the second step is yes, we want to focus on the hardware. We want to address the body, right? For example, if let's say the child has some gut issue constipations, diarrhea, bloated abdomen. So we need to improve their diet. He has to go for the diet restriction, low sugar, low gluten, low casein. Okay, so and if let's say the child is having very low energy, lethargy, get tired very fast, then we have to give some supportive nutrient. For example, mitochondrial cocktails, your coenzyme Q10, your B complex. Okay, so if your child have a sleep issue, okay, as one of the very common issue, so we have to improve the sleep routine using both psychological or some medical methods. Okay, if your child have sensory issue, definitely you have to do sensory therapy. Okay, the last one is important message for all the parents, right? So a parent will ask me, Doctor, will my child improve? My answer is very simple, yes. But every child has their own journey, all right? So you have to focus on the child's strength, celebrate small improvement, try not to compare with other children. Always be consistent and patient. Yeah, both husband and wife must be in harmony. The family member must be harmony. So that you can give the continuous support, persistent, continuous discipline support to your child. All right. So lastly, please don't give up too easily. Okay. So I hope it helps. I see you back in the next session again. Bye.